I woke up while nature was sound asleep, so I could marvel at its kingdom. I strolled through its lush gardens and saw every little wonder up close. Here, you can dance with giants, discover a feast for the eyes, and a feast for the appetite. Walls that hold heroes' stories told me of their bravery, while sacred places blessed my journey. I roamed places that stood the test of time, and others that were there since the beginning.
Every day, I wake up to a feast. Where I can sink my teeth into history. Or shock my taste buds with something new. It's here I learned the color of sweetness, expanded my pantry, and my appetite. Every next bite only leaves you hungry for more.
Just woke up from the time of my life. It started with a major throwback. Then I got to meet the big shots. I found a sweet spot between cultures and hung out with the artsy crowd. I even picked up a few things along the way. After that, things kicked into overdrive. It started with a whirlwind through the streets, an unforgettable eats, a celebration of flavor in every bite, and an epic new party at every turn. The best thing about it here, the good times are never over.
Mabuhay! You're now boarding GPS TV. I'm Aya Fernandez, your online travel buddy. Join me as we navigate again and again through your favorite destinations, making sure, of course, to hashtag go safe, go travel. Our episode today ay kakaiba talaga, guys. Can I just say powerful? Hashtag powerful. Kasi we have invited some of our power women in the tourism industry who inspire and influence the people in their field. So we feel so privileged to have them today on our show. And they are some of the luminaries in the tourism sector with decades of experience in accommodation, food and beverage, recreation and entertainment, and travel services. So for today, we will find out what makes a good leader, diba, in this field. Syempre, hindi rin mawawala yung tanong natin kung paano mag-go safe, go travel. So for those of you who are watching on Facebook tsaka sa YouTube, we hope you will all be inspired by the stories of these strong and wonderful ladies we have on board sa ating GPS TV flight. So hindi ko na patatagalin pa. Let us call on our women in heels. Ang unang rarampa, she is the Hotel Sales and Marketing Association Chair, VP for Sales and Marketing of Blue Water Resorts, Maribago, Miss Marge Monsayak.
Hi. Good evening, everybody.
Magandang araw po. Mabuhay po, Miss Marge. Our next guest, she is a VP Sales and Marketing for SMX Convention Center, Miss Agnes Pasis.
Hi, Aya. Good afternoon, everyone. I've just been promoted in tasks recently, so I'm now the VP General Manager of SMX Convention Center. So more to
Powerful.
do. You.
Powerful. Thank you, Miss Agnes. More to do, but so much more to inspire. Thank you for being here. Our next guest, she is the Chief Operating Officer of Enchanted Kingdom Incorporated, Miss Cynthia Mamon.
Magical afternoon from Enchanted
Ah,
Kingdom.
I love that. Magical afternoon po. Our next guest, she is the Cluster Director of Sales and Marketing in Dusit Thani, Manila, Miss Lani Merilo. Our next guest, she is the Vice President for Marketing in Philippine Airlines, Miss Ria Carion Domingo. Mabuhay po sa inyong lahat, sa ating mga powerful women na ating guests for today. Para sa ating na nandyan sa YouTube and Facebook, tune in to GPS TV para malaman nyo about worry-free travels and unique journeys to boot. Yung mga nakaraan nating episodes, marami tayong naging episode na for all women, di ba? Pero never natin na focus sa discussion yung women in heels or women empowerment. And today we're going to celebrate that. So malayo-layo man ang March, which is the Women's Month, pero ngayon, why not celebrate it even more? So I'd like to start our conversation by siguro I'll start it with a personal question. How did you start your career sa tourism industry? Kayo po, Miss Marge.
Well, right after marriage, I married very young. I became a secretary to the food and beverage manager of Montebello Villa Hotel in Cebu City. Okay, after a year, I was promoted to food and beverage supervisor. So that was my journey. And after a year or so, I moved to Manila because my husband is from Manila. And I was actually promoted to being the sales manager of Montebello Villa Hotel. Now, after a few years, Blue Water Maribago actually asked me to join them, and the rest is history. And here I am managing, being the sales and marketing director of 3 resorts under the Blue Water brand.
If I may ask, if it is okay, you managed the marriage life with when you started in the tourism industry.
That's very true. It was really balancing act, being married and being in a sales and marketing of a hotel.
Yeah.
Sales and marketing of a hotel is a very challenging job. You're traveling very often, you have late nights, but I'm very lucky. I have a very understanding husband. He would wait for me in the lobby
Mm.
when I have to go home late. And my GM would say, I hope I had more employees with husbands like you.
Oh! And dahil po dyan, allow me to say this note na let our response be sana all, di ba? That expression. How about you, Miss Agnes? How did you start
Ah,
your career?
oh gosh, that would be more than 3 decades ago after graduating in Bachelor of Science in Tourism in the University of the Philippines, Asian Institute of Tourism. I had a few choices. So either you go to a hotel,
Mhm.
an airline, a travel agency, or a convention center.
Okay.
They wouldn't take me in an airline, di ba? Almost all young women want to be a flight attendant during my days
Oh, okay.
because of the lack of height. So,
Oh,
and talking about women in heels, I wore my highest heels that day.
wow.
Pero of course, pinatanggal and then they measure you up, right? So, my first paycheck came from a hotel. I did my practicum training in a hotel, and I ended up as a sales executive of the then Hyatt Terraces in Baguio, but based in the Hyatt Regency Manila,
Okay.
now the Midas Hotel. So that time, um, there were only a few hotels in Manila at that time, and
Yeah.
Hyatt Regency was one of them, and we are based there. So, and then a few countries and hotel companies later, I must have been bitten by the bug. So I'm still in the industry.
Mm, so very inspiring. Thank you, Miss Agnes, for sharing that. So, you were a fresh grad when you started,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Okay,
Fresh
okay.
grad. Lucky to
So,
have a job right away.
yeah.
'Cause-
So, para sa ating mga fresh grads na viewers, may pag-asa. Wag kay kapit lang tayo, di ba? Like Miss Agnes, she started fresh grad, di ba? It's not a race at all. How about
yeah.
you, Miss Cynthia? How did you start your career in the tourism industry?
I don't know if you will say it's a career because I grew up with it. When I saw the question, I said, "Oh my gosh, I grew up with it because my family owns 3 resorts in Los Baños, Laguna. You know that
Mm.
Los Baños is called Los Baños because it means many baths because it used to have many resorts which were very popular. So
Oh.
our first resort, which was probably the oldest in Los Baños, is Libis ng Nayon. So I grew up
Oh.
with that. My sisters and my siblings were my sisters because we were swimmers in UP Los Baños. We were lifeguards there. We served food.
Oh.
We took over the ticketing booth and all of that. So actually, I grew up with it. And then when
Mm.
I was in college, they chose some tour guides for the Tourism Association of Laguna,
Okay.
TAL,
Mhm.
and I was one of the few ladies who were trained as tour guide. And so I was doing that then, of course, on the side every weekend. So we go to the different resorts and act as tour guides. But fast forward, officially now, of course, with my husband, of course, opening up Enchanted Kingdom way back in 1995. It's 25
Wow.
years, of course, to date.
Wow.
So
Congratulations. Can I just say
yeah,
congratulations.
Enchanted Kingdom just celebrated its 25th anniversary. And well, I used to manage a computer company before, but then,
Mm.
of course, he asked me to help. So in 2008, I officially joined Enchanted Kingdom, and now I'm Chief Operating Officer of Enchanted Kingdom. So as a wife, I have been there since it started, but officially, only in 2008 when I joined officially Enchanted Kingdom. But I grew
Tagal
up
na
with it.
rin.
I grew
Yeah.
up with the tourism industry, so to speak, being
Oh.
born in a resort business.
Yeah. Uh, nakaka-starstruck pakinggan na it takes years, it takes years and
Oh yeah.
hard work before you got where you are. And it's just very inspiring, can I just say? And it's even an understatement, yung inspiring. I cannot word how much it is. Now, I'd like to ask you, since we are here on GPS TV talking about the tourism industry, how did you marry your passion for traveling and your work? Paano po nangyari yun, Miss Margie?
As I mentioned a while ago, balancing is really a tough act, for us in the industry. But when you love your job, you're passionate about it, it is infectious to your family, right? And I also try to bring them with me as much as possible to events, even to some of my travels, so they understand. And in the course of this, they have learned to love as well tourism and my job, and have been fully supportive. Of course, there are some hitches, there are some arguments along the way, but at the end of the day, they respect, and they do know how much I love my job and as well as tourism.
And actually, as you get to travel, you get to apply it even more to your job. So
That's
parang ano siya, it's a coexistence, and at the same time, it nurtures it nurtures the other, traveling and then your work. Thank you so
That's
much.
really true. And it's also a perk for my family that when you're in the industry, you get some good values along the way, right? So you get to see more places, you get to have special attention from the properties that you go to. And these are the perks which everybody enjoys. So,
Yeah.
the work actually paves the way for better vacations for all of us.
That's good to know. I see you nodding, Miss Agnes. Sabi niyo, it's true. Kayo naman po. How do you marry your passion for traveling and your work?
Okay. Well, the reason why I took up tourism because there's that passion to travel to begin with, right?
Okay.
And luckily, in being in a hotel, and like what Marge said, being in sales and marketing of a hotel, it's almost synonymous to you know um, being with your suitcase all the time. You live off your suitcase, and you wake up in a different hotel room because you're selling. You ask everyone you want to buy rooms all the time. And I'm lucky to have, or I'm one of the lucky ones to have had the chance of traveling for work, not just because I'm selling, but because um, I was assigned to different places, different
Okay.
countries.
Mhm.
And I've opened a few hotels around Asia and in Australia. And in doing so, the family also came along. And it was a tough decision to begin with, but in hindsight, it just really was very rewarding in all its the culture that you learn about, the friends that you meet, not just with work but also because on your personal side. And it's really is the best teacher, travel. And you can't put a price to that. And if you like what you do, and that's tourism and travel, it doesn't feel like work at all. That's
That's so nice. Thank you, Miss Agnes. How about you, Miss Cynthia?
Okay, I think I'm blessed to have a husband who loves to travel. He has collection of airplanes. He knows the kind of airplanes. He knows the schedule. He knows the engine. So he really wants me to tag along. And together with our children, we love to travel. And being so, we love to go around and be a tourist ourselves. So
Mm,
if you love to be a tourist, then somehow it's easy for us to be in the tourism services sector because you know what the guest would appreciate more.
Mm-hmm.
And so this work in Enchanted Kingdom work
Uh-huh.
is has a requirement. We have to go around different countries to see different theme parks
Okay,
and
yeah.
try the new rides. So I try all the rides. Everywhere
Oh.
we go, I test all the rides. And then
Including
when
the
we go
roller.
back, I tell my husband, oh, this is a good ride to bring to Enchanted. And he will buy, and I will test it again after the sandbags would be placed on the rides. So I test
Oh
the
my
rides as well.
gosh.
up to now, Cynthia, you still do that?
Yeah.
Wow, you're so adventurous and brave.
Yeah. Yeah, like the jungle lag jam or anchors away, people get dizzy. I
Yeah.
find it so relaxing.
Wow.
Oh
The
my
roller
gosh.
coasters.
Ako,
Yes,
hindi ko na kaya since I would choose my rides these days. Hindi na pwede yung
I will
ganyan.
I will invite all of you when we launch a new ride next year.
Well, you gotta describe the ride first before we say yes.
Is
Naku,
it
It is
something
safe.
that will, that will bring us all up and down?
oh my, kaya lang po Miss Marge, Miss Agnes, bawal daw po tumanggi. Required daw po sumakay.
Okay, sasakay tayo hanggang saan tayo makarating.
Oh
It
my
takes all
gosh.
the stress.
Oo.
Basta may merong motion sickness tsaka barf bag nakasama.
Oh
Okay.
my gosh, that's so interesting. That's so
Grabe,
awesome.
Yes.
Can I
Cynthia.
just say, Miss Cynthia? Pero
Dito.
when you started that, wala ba kayong fear of heights, fear of yung mga motion sick? Wala. Okay. So talagang it was meant for
None.
you.
None for me. None
It
for
was
me.
it was meant for you. No.
Yeah.
And
It's
you and your husband
natural,
are
natural.
meant to be.
And all our kids,
Ganun
Oo
din.
naman.
especially the
Ganun
two
din.
girls, they tried the highest and the most risky ride.
Nasa gene.
Yeah,
Oo,
it's in the
nasa
genes,
jeans.
Nasa DNA na nila.
Oo.
DNA. Yeah.
Grabe. Simulang tanong pa lang, ang dami ko nang natutunan from you. But now I want to go deeper. What is it about naman, the Philippine culture and tourism that you are most proud about, Miss Marge?
Okay, the culture of tourism or the culture of the Philippines is really about, tradition, about celebrations, about our love to entertain, love to
Mhm.
eat, and our storytelling. And this is all about tourism. For me, all of this put together really makes our tourism, and it makes my role as somebody that promotes tourism to other countries to come to the Philippines. And this is how we put it together. And then we put in our Philippine hospitality. In our resorts in Cebu and Boa, we call it amuma. And this is so Filipino
Luma.
for us because it's a Visayan word that means to care for, to pamper for, to pamper. And I think this is what makes Philippines very attractive to foreigners, right? They come to the Philippines, we're all smile. We're a very resilient country, right, people? No matter what happened, we will always have a reason to smile and to celebrate, right? And this is one culture that makes us, that makes tourism easy to sell and makes tourism our lives.
True. Very true. Lalo na sa panahon ngayon.
Yeah,
That is
that's
very
right.
not refreshing but also very motivating to hear. How about you, Miss Agnes?
Um, for me, the Philippines is all about its heart. Having lived in a few countries in the past, you see it more clearly when you're removed from it. Because when I was living in Thailand, people tell me how they see the Filipinos. When I was living in Indonesia, they'll tell me, you Filipinos are like this. And even in Australia. So you get a perspective of how
Outside.
the world, yeah, from the outside looking in and how the world sees you. And the common denominator is like what Marge said, the heart, the caring, the pampering. It's not only the 7,100 breathtaking islands that we have in this country, but it's really the the caring and loving nature and the warm-heartedness of the people. And again, that's something you can't replicate because it's not hardware or software, it's hardware.
Yeah.
Mm. So
Hardware.
it's the
That's
hardware of the Filipinos.
we have a new term here now. You
Hardware.
coined hardware. That's very nice.
Tsaka
Thank you.
amuma. Amuma.
Yes, Amuma. Also, Amuma. Thank you, Miss Agnes. Kayo po, Miss Cynthia. Ano po yung pinaka-proud kayo about Philippine culture and tourism?
Again, earlier I said I grew up with it. I think I learned my culture from my dancing days. I used to be a member of the UP Los Baños Filipiniana dance troupe.
Ah,
So I was the
wow.
single princess, I was the Igorot princess, I was the Muslim princess, I was the lead dancer for Tinikling. So I learned it through the dances, and of course the dancing and the dances of Philippines has history, right? So I learned it, I guess, in addition to school. You know, it's in my dancing, which is my other passion.
Mm-mm.
So I think I learned it, and I guess I practice it naturally because of that. Because dance is an expression of our culture.
Yeah.
And so in our business, we have much of the dancing and the singing.
Wow.
I perform in Enchanted Kingdom.
Mm. Can I just say,
Yeah.
it's nakakatuwa na pakinggan na, and it's very inspiring to know na those little aspects of your life accumulated,
Yes.
tapos it merged and puzzled into a bigger, beautiful picture.
That's right.
Na parang, kasi sometimes, I don't know sa ating mga viewers, I don't know if you can relate to me, na sometimes there are phases in our lives na we don't know the purpose why we are going through this. But
Yeah.
at the end of the, in our lifeline, marirealize natin na, oh, may dahilan pala.
Kaya pala.
Kasi, kasi
Mm.
it becomes part of our job, of our bigger job someday. And listening to you guys right now, parang nakakakilig na parang it comforts me na okay, balang araw, it will lead
Oh
me to
yeah.
something bigger, something
Yeah.
gana, 'di ba? And thank you for sharing those with us. Nakakakilig, and congratulations dahil hanggang ngayon ang Filipiniana Dance Troupe ay napakagaling talaga.
Ah yeah.
Can I just say? But before we proceed, I'd like to also ask Miss Lani, how did you start your career in the tourism industry?
I was influenced by my mother to take on tourism hospitality career. I saw her working in an iconic 5-star hotel in Makati as a chef for 15 years. I remembered at the age of 9, I was exposed not only in the guest areas, but also in the back area of the hotel. So I took up hotel and restaurant management as a degree to follow the footsteps of my mom as a chef. However, during my on-the-job training, when you get to be exposed in different areas, departments of the hotel, that's when I saw the sales, marketing, and PR people, well-dressed, with beautiful makeup, in their suits, and heels, which showed the glam side of the industry, which came to me much more interesting. So I decided to drop my plan of being a chef and pursue the career in hotel sales and marketing after I graduated.
How about you, Miss Ria? Miss Ria, how did you start your career in the tourism industry?
I'm a PAL baby. My parents met and fell in love in Philippine Airlines. My father was a flight purser, my mother was a flight attendant. So as I was growing up, PAL was a household name. And this is what I always say. Philippine Airlines brought food to our table, sent me and my siblings to school, and we were able to see the world through the benefits of Philippine Airlines. So when I graduated from college, I said to myself, I want to work for PAL. So even my on-the-job training, I did it in Philippine Airlines. So my entry level in PAL was telesales agent. Nowadays you call it the call center. So I used to take in the calls for reservations, flight informations, and all other inquiries from the passengers. From there, I moved to operations. I was a customer relations officer at the airport in the 90s, so we handled the complaints, the inconvenienced passengers, and at the same time, helping in the day-to-day operations of PAL. And then moved to corporate and move around from products, loyalty, and now my current position, which is the Vice President of Marketing.
Now, moving on to our next question, I'd like to ask Miss Lani, how do you marry your passion for traveling at ang inyong work?
The Filipino people. I am very proud of us Filipinos having a naturally born hospitality culture. I had worked outside of the Philippines in 2 other countries and been traveling around the world, but nothing beats the Filipino service that is truly genuine and coming from the heart. This also explains why we rank in the top 5 of the countries with the highest employment in the hospitality industry worldwide.
Now, I'd like to ask everyone, as a traveler, ano po yung mga favorite destinations where you used to go? Diba? Where would you want to wake up again? Diba? Nakita natin napakaganda nating teaser and introduction ng GPS TV. Parang ako gusto kong bumangon ulit sa Zambales. Kayo po, Miss Margie, saan niyo po gustong bumangon ulit?
Remember, I love my own, no? For the past years, yeah, it's almost every month that I would really go to our resorts, especially the Blue Water Sumilon. It's an
Mm.
exclusive island down south of Cebu. And it's my favorite place. Okay. It is a place where I would go to de-stress, where I would go to, clear out the cobwebs in my head. And,
Mm.
when I go there to work, it's really not about work anymore. It's really about, you know, uh, de-stressing. It's the best place for me. My work is such I get the best of my work, of my ideas from Sumilon. And Maribago and Panglao are my favorites as well, because it is my second home. These 3 resorts are my second home. And this is where I would want to wake up again. Wake up in the villa of Blue Water Sumilon and just look at the expanse of the beautiful sea. And this is one of my dream. I hope I can do it very soon. And as in soon.
Oo
Because
nga,
we're cooped up in the 4 walls of our place, and it's somewhere that it's a bucket list. It's a dream. We're all dreaming about that day when we can go out. And Sumilon is my place to be, to wake
Mm.
up. Yeah.
Were you able to live there for you
No,
mentioned that?
we would stay for a week. I would stay for a week in
Okay.
Sumilon, in Maribago, in Panglao, and this comes very regular. It's almost every week or every other week you're there. And it's second home for me, but it's a place also because it's a beach resort. All of these are
Yeah.
beach resorts. So it's so relaxing for me. It's open space for me. It really brings out the creative juices in me. And this is where I really would want to go back. But of course, there are other destinations in the Philippines
Ah,
that I
yeah.
also love going back in the past years. Boracay is one of them. Um, let me see. Of course,
Yeah.
Mindanao would be one of them
Oh,
because we
yeah,
also
yeah,
have
yeah.
3 resorts,
Pero
3
okay lang po
properties
yun na
in
meron
Mindanao.
kayong favorite, Miss March. Okay
Yeah,
lang
that's
yan.
my favorite. In fact, that's the
Sumilon.
favorite of my apo. When
Oh,
everybody asked her, what is your province? And she would say, Sumilon.
Sumilon.
And all
Actually,
her teachers would say, can you invite us to Sumilon?
naku,
She
patay
would
na.
show photos.
Oo. Actually, sasabihin ko na nga sana eh, yun pala po ang inyong secret kung bakit napaka-fresh nyo pa rin ay yung pala regularly you go to Sumilon.
Yes,
Parang ang inyong
it's a place, yeah. It's not
energy, dun
work
kayo
anymore.
nagre-recharge ng inyong
Yeah, I
energy.
really get recharged there.
Yeah. How about you, Miss Cynthia? Where would you want to wake up again? Huwag niyo po sabihin sa akin roller coaster ride sa Enchanted Kingdom.
On
Malay
top
mo.
of the roller coaster.
Yeah, of course, kasi if we're used to that already. But of course, the beach is always something that provides serenity, no? And well, locally, of course, I like Palawan. But abroad, because my youngest son works for Four Seasons Langkawi. Agnes knows him. And so we always were treated by him. Siyempre, di ba may privilege yung sa hotel
Perks.
to Langkawi Beach
Wow.
Resort. So he would put us up in a best villa, and then you can just walk to the beach. So yun ang sa akin paradise. So it's really
Langkawi.
nice. Yeah, yeah. Of
Ganda.
course there are other Maui or Hawaii, but
Of
siguro
course.
the closest in Asia is Langkawi because my youngest son also works there.
Is he
So,
there right now?
yeah. Well, he's based now in KL, and although nag-lockdown na naman ng Malaysia, but he works and sells for the property, which is Langkawi. And Langkawi is so nice. Yeah,
Yeah,
Philippine
I haven't been
Airlines.
there, but it's very nice. It's one of
It's
my
nice.
bucket list also. Pero let's say kunwari hindi pa tayo pwedeng mag outside of the country. Sa aling local destination po yung would you want to wake up to again?
Well, as I said, Palawan.
Okay,
I like
Palawan
Palawan. Oh, by
talaga.
the way, in Cebu, I like Cebu. And of course, I stayed there na rin in Maribago and of course Shangri-La, Cebu. Yeah, we have the best, I think. And then of course I go scuba diving. So wow, beautiful. It's a totally different world down
Yes.
there. We
And
have the best.
actually,
We have the
the
best.
the Philippines has the best diving spots. Because I also
Oo.
personally I also do scuba diving. Eh. How about you, Miss Agnes? Ano po yung local destination na you wanna wake up to again?
I'm one of those na probably pales in comparison to my contemporaries as far as traveling the Philippines is concerned. Kasi for the most part, I was out of the country, but I'm still catching up. And if I want, kasi somebody asked me, are you a mountain or a beach person at one point?
Yeah.
Oo. For the longest time, I said I will say I'm a mountain person because my first job was in Baguio, Hyatt Terraces, Baguio, and that's where I get to chill out. The mountain air, the greenery, looking out to the open horizon.
Mm-mm.
But through the years, I've learned to appreciate the ocean. I've worked in a few resorts, and the magnesium in the air is so good for you.
Super.
If you're by the water, and Palawan is there up there also. Mactan, where I used to work at the Shangri-La in Mactan, is
Beautiful.
it's
I
a
like.
it's a one of my favorites also. I used to work in the Great Barrier Reef in Australia also. So that's also a nice gateway and where you can find Nemo. But we can find Nemo also here in the
Yeah.
beach of our
Yes, Nemo is
island.
next to
Yes.
Leon.
Oh, correct. But if it's somewhere far, my heart, I am in awe of the history of Europe. I love Italy. Italy is probably the closest we can get to the Filipino sort of beliefs and culture, the God-fearing, the love for family
Family.
and food.
Yes.
Food.
And if I can marry mountain and ocean, I love Amalfi and the Positano area.
Yes.
Oh.
Amalfi.
Yeah, so those so lovely. And Thailand also is good because it has everything for everyone. It has
Oh
shopping, it
yeah.
has culture, it has nightlife, it has mountain, it has beaches, and it's near the Philippines too. And my second home, Australia. I happen to have a
Oh.
second citizenship, and the Australians are
Australia.
very authentic, and there's a strong sense
Mm.
of mateship, if you will. Everyone is a good mate to everyone. As
Yeah.
long as you're humble and modest, then you're good. But of course, nothing beats our very own, right?
Hmm.
We especially, ako, yung ating hospitality incomparable. In Thailand, tinuturuan pa silang maging hospitable. And
Oh, really?
tinuturuan pa silang, of course, mag-English.
Oh
And
yeah.
in us, it is in our nature to be both hospitable and to speak in English. So we're halfway there before even being trained. So yeah, that tourism is very good here where we are. So
Yeah. Nakakakilig pakinggan how you guys have been to so many countries, and then at the end of what you are saying, napansin ko lagi yung sinasabi na Pinas pa rin yung
oo.
pinipili nyo, and nakakakilig yon dahil nakakilig piliin, mapili, hindi lang sa love life, pati rin sa sarili mong bayan. So thank you for sharing those with us. And we've just heard the beginning of how you were able to transform, to broaden, and deepen your perspective because of your experiences. Na sana kayo rin right now sa mga ating viewers na ma-inspire na, to wear those heels figuratively, or pwede rin literal na magsuot ng heels and, strut to be your best. When we return, let's talk about what is currently happening in tourism industry.
wrong. No one else can make me feel this way. And only you can bring out all the best I can do. How to leave a turn the tide. Made me feel real good inside. Pushed me up, and I'm about to give up. You're on my side, and no one seems to listen. And if you go, you know the tears can't help but show. You know you've always had my heart. From now on we'll never part. It's your smile, your face, your lips that I miss. Those sweet little lies that stare at me and make me say I'm with you through all the way. 'Cause it's you that fills the emptiness in me. Changes everything I see when I know I got you with me.
Mabuhay! Welcome back! You're still with me, Aya Fernandez, your online travel buddy. So, pagpatuloy natin ang ating conversation with the power women of today. Ngayon, tatanong ko po kayo, how do you think working sa tourism sector empowers individuals? Let's start with Miss Cynthia.
That's kind of tough question, but just just as we were saying, Filipinos are naturally caring, naturally, well, of course, fluent in communication, especially that we're one of the English speaking countries. And we really love people. So that natural instinct, natural talent, natural, I guess, what character or personality is in each one of us. I remember before tourism secretary that each one of us is a tourist volunteer. Kasi sa bahay lang, no? When people come, halika, pasok ka. We try to give the best. We try to cook food, the best food, and then we give the best for our guests. So it comes naturally as we even welcome a guest in our home. So in the society and in the country. So it's just carried over. Just like what Agnes said, it's not even thought. It comes
Yeah.
out naturally.
Mm.
But of course, the challenge, especially if we talk about new professionals now, is that they have to learn new technologies
Wow.
because these new technologies are the ways to reach out to the new guests, new demands of our guests, because the profile of our guests are changing. And this current situation, the COVID situation, changes everything about doing business. So definitely it empowers every individual. It comes from the natural personality of every Filipino. But in order for us to be more empowered, then we need to really be updated with technologies.
Yeah.
And of course, this is not just technical, but more of communication skills.
Yes.
And I guess just continue loving people. Yung sabi rin ni Agnes na heartware. Or
Yes.
amuma, ano? Amumam? Ano?
Amuma.
Amuma. I learned these two words today.
Very nice, no?
I think these are learnings for today's event.
Yeah. And
Amuma and heartware.
at ako naman po, Miss Cynthia, what I really learned from what you just said, yung kahit na isang sagot lang yon, let's bring out the best of what we have, of what we innately have. Kasi tayo mga Pilipino, sabi nyo, pinanganak na tayong hospitable eh. So, what more if we develop, we level up sa ating competition game. So, the more na lilipad tayo ng talagang parang agila. Kasi meron na tayo, pausbungin pa natin. Kasi
Yeah.
kung if we will just stay where we are, wala, papantayan lang tayo ng iba. So para sa ating mga viewers, kaya natin to, guys. Miss Margie, kayo po, when was that, if you can recall, an experience in your life na parang naisip nyo sa sarili nyo na, through the work that I do, na nabigyan ko ng power itong, let's say, another employee, na you were able to empower another person through the work that you do. Was there a specific experience?
Yes, remember, tourism is really about people's business, right?
Mhm.
And as we embark on a on tourism business, right? It gives us a lot of opportunities to improve ourselves. Firstly, why you make more money in tourism, right? You start earning in tourism, especially in the hotel industry. It empowers you to be more confident, right? And as we grow up the ladder, like me, I hope I have passed on to my people that opportunity, right, to travel, and they get to learn more. They get to, as Agnes was saying, it's an education in itself, right? And I believe that, when I see my own people, you know, uh, having better lives, okay, having more confidence because of what you have exposed them. You bring them on your travels. You let them meet. You meet a lot different kinds of people in our day-to-day lives, and I believe this one gives them that empowerment, right? They become better people. You empower them to become better people, to learn more. And as Cynthia was mentioning, it is about learning, is about, getting to know the newer trends. And I hope and that, the company as well as we give all of these opportunities to our employees, and not only to our employees, but to their families. This is about empowering, right? Individuals in the tourism industry. As we empower and as we provide better lives to our employees, then it down, it cascades to their families. They're able to educate their children better and to give them better lives. And and this grows within the community. And tourism really empowers the community, because as we give more business, right, to the supply chain of tourism, we empower more people, we educate more people, and this way, we contribute not only to the economy of our country, but we start by the economy of our communities. And this is very touching to me when I see really our own staff having better lives. They go to school, they want to better themselves because their dream is really to travel. And what touches me more when they say, we want to be you. Someday we will be you. That's what touches me. And I hope, in one way, I have empowered them.
Yeah, and also Miss Marge, sana lahat ng leaders katulad ninyo na you would want to see your people improve. They say that a true leader is the one who can be a mentor also. Not only a guide, but also mentors you. And that is even more beautiful when you said na meron na silang sarili na lang initiative to improve themselves. Because of course, for sure, they were inspired by you. So thank you for what you do, Miss Marge. How about you, Miss Agnes? Meron mo po kayong specific experience na naisip nyo sa sarili nyo na, wow, through the work that I do, I have empowered this person or these people.
A combination of empowering not just kababayans, but also other cultures where I worked in. And every time I'm assigned to a certain place, I look at it as I'm going to have to leave a certain legacy behind. I'm going to have to make a thumbprint somehow so that when they turn around and see the back of me, they'll say, I learned something from that woman. And whatever it is, because one of the things that I look for when I hire people is the heart, or somebody who's emotionally intelligent. Especially in our industry, you have to be emotionally intelligent. You have to be socially intelligent also. And having those qualities in a person is already a good um, canvas, I suppose, for you to train them and leave the legacy. And I think there's no other industry that breaks barriers and makes the world more borderless than the tourism industry, because it really is an in racism or racial discrimination, or even within the Philippines, regional discrimination is born of ignorance.
Yes.
It's really ignorance of what they do and what the other culture is all about. When I was based in Cebu, I understood the Cebuano more than ever.
True.
And that is what tourism, you can't learn in classrooms, no matter what course you take. And travel, again, I will repeat, it's truer now more than ever. It's the best teacher. And it adds another dimension to your thinking. You get more mature. Your point of view is more, I guess, inclusive,
Yes.
because you understand religion, you understand gender equality better, you understand generation gaps, you understand certain beliefs and cultures differing from each other, even within our 7,000 islands, right? More so the world. And tourism is the key to keep the peace and harmony
Yes.
in our earth.
Kaya nga naisip ko nga po, sana mangyari yun na maisama rin sa curriculum yung different Filipino languages and dialects. Kasi so that people can, easily mas madali mag-travel.
Absolutely.
Kasi nagiging barrier siya and nagiging cause siya ng misunderstanding ng, let's say, yung mga social cues na may mga ganong nangyayari. So habang nagsasalita ka, naisip ko rin yun na sana mangyari yun, na mag-evolve din ang ating curriculum sa school on in terms of how to help the tourism sector improve even more. And like what you said, it bridges people, and it's inspiring how you said ang bare minimum is not actually, let's say, yung iba kasi ang bare minimum is kailangan college graduate, but your bare minimum is you should have empathy. You should know how to connect, and that's so nice. Sana lahat talaga ganun din. Thank you for giving us your perspective, Miss Agnes. Let's hear from Miss Lani.
My top favorite destination is Davao. Of course, when this is over, I would like to explore Davao from its islands to highlands. Explore the different beach areas in Samad Island like Talikod Beach with its white pristine sand, do the adventure rides in Eden Natural Park, make a road trip to places like Coverno Generoso to experience its newly opened luxury glamping site, see Aliwagwag Waterfalls in Davao de Oro, considered as the country's highest waterfall, and trekking on the slope of Mount Hamigitan, a UNESCO World Heritage Park and Natural Science Museum. If given the opportunity to travel again, what are the destinations in the Philippines you would like to visit? I travel to Davao monthly for work and spend 2 weeks there in a month. When given the opportunity to travel again during my weekend off, I would like to drive to South Cotabato to see Lake Cebu and Tiboli tribes. Also do a road trip to Surigao del Sur to see Hainatuan Enchanted River and drive all the way to Siargao Island. How do you think working in the tourism sector empowers individuals? In Dusit Hotels and Resorts, the company's vision, mission, and core value is to empower its people to exceed expectation always. I spoke about my company, but as a person in the tourism and hospitality sector, we are expected to always go an extra mile in giving service. Being in this industry, We must be passionate with innate nature of being hospitable. The tourism industry empowers us to create meaningful and lifetime experiences to our guests.
And let's hear from Miss Ria.
Okay, so working in the tourism sector definitely empowers everybody. You know, you are, every time you travel or every time you meet a tourist, you are representing your country. So you're like an ambassador selling the Philippines to the tourists that we meet, or when you go to other countries, you're there really selling the beautiful beaches, not only our beaches, but of course the people. No, that's what we always say. The people, the heart of the Filipino, is really something that the tourists can't explain, because the warmth that they feel when they are here in our country, the resilience that they see when they visit the different provinces, and of course it's the joy, it's the very accommodating spirit that we have, and it gives us confidence that pride, it gives us the joy, it makes us very proud to be Filipino. And we have very beautiful islands here that I'm sure everybody would really like to visit and explore.
Now I'd like to ask Miss Marge, ano po yung, could you share us the efforts being carried out ng tourism stakeholders to bounce back stronger and united?
Okay. For the past few months, the private stakeholders has really been putting their heads together in addressing the health safety protocols, right? So
Mm.
more or less, everybody is already in place, and we have learned to work with each other. We have taken out the word competition from among us. Okay, so we have learned to work with each other so that we will be able to show the world that the Philippines is ready. Even to show the Philippines, the Filipinos, that we are ready, and that we are in this together, and that we will work together to make travel possible in the soonest possible time. Right now, we started with HSMA. This is the Association of the Hotel Sales and Marketing Association. We really wanted to jumpstart tourism in Metro Manila and the urban cities. So we came up with our HSMA SOS. That's our September online sale. All of the major hotels in Manila, in Metro Manila, as well as in the provinces, the resorts, we all came up with beautiful offers because we wanted to jumpstart tourism, and we made available to our Filipino travelers, fantastic prices. We
Mhm.
all came together. We were not competing, we were working as one. And then now you will see Boracay. They're coming together in an online sale, all working together. They are not promoting their property, they are promoting the destination. But slowly we are reopening our destinations. So here in the industry, we are working to sell a destination, to sell the Philippines in the future, not as one, not as individual property, but as one. But all of us have fixed, have agreed that we will not compete, but we will really cooperate with each other. And this is what the pandemic has brought us. It has showed us the bad and the good side of people, right?
Yes.
And we have seen that good side. Everybody wants to work. We will not fight with each other. We will help each other so that as one. And I really believe in that tagline: we will heal as one and we will win as one. And this is what we are into now. It's really about cooperation, collaboration, and we take away competition from our vocabulary.
Napakaganda how you were able to redefine and restructure the word competition na naging bayanihan siya instead of kanya-kanya.
Competition na daw.
Yeah,
Competition na ngayon.
competition na
That's
ngayon. And can I
right.
just
Oo.
say, since you mentioned HSMA, I'm really also personally grateful to be part of GPS TV kasi it's also an effort to bounce back to jumpstart our local tourism, with the coordination, of course, with the Department of Tourism and
Yes,
the
that's right.
Tourism Promotions Board. So thank you, HSMA. Wala lang.
Yeah, and
Napapasensi lang
thank you,
ako
really.
while listening to you, Miss
Thank
Marge.
you. Thank you, Anya. You have been part of this. I really want also to thank the Department of Tourism and the Tourism Promotions Board. They have been very supportive of our programs and projects because they know this is one of the way to recover and to bounce back, very fast when, if and when the world is ready, if and when this virus will really be addressed. And so we are all ready, you know, just they say the word and we're all ready to open slowly. And we are doing that right now.
Miss Marge, sino pa ba ang magtutulungan kung di tayo-tayo
Yes,
lang ding mga Pilipino, di ba?
that's
Now,
very true.
oh, 'di ba? Talagang bayanihan, 'di ba?
Uh-huh.
Modern bayanihan. Miss
Mm.
Agnes, ano po ang inyong message para sa mga ating viewers na gustong mag-work sa Philippine tourism industry?
Okay. Well, tourism is really something that is giving us a lot and contributing to our GDP.
Yes.
It is an integral part of the economy. It will stand up again. It is known to be, well, one of the hardest hit industries with this pandemic. We have to face that reality. And the reason it's one of the hardest hit, it's because it's a vector of the spread of virus. Again, we will have to admit that. But you know what? It is also a vector of the spread of a lot of beautiful things. It is a vector of spread of harmony, of peace, all the good things that is fostered, and all the bayanihan spirit, and all the understanding of each other's cultures and each other's beliefs. So tourism may be a little bit asleep these days because of what we're going through, but let me tell you that the industry is made up of road warriors.
That's very true.
And we're coming back with a vengeance, big time. And business events like what we anticipate to have to restart hopefully sooner than later in SMX Convention Center, and to fill up our hotels with not just tourists but also business travelers. This is all going to spin off in our pockets, whether it's the pocket of the CEO or the pocket of Mamang Sorbetero. It affects every industry because they're here to spend, and they're here to have a good time, and they're here to find out more about our country. So tourism is very noble in my opinion. It's a very noble industry to be in, and there's and it's an industry that's more fun.
Yeah, because it's more fun in the
Yes.
Philippines.
We can't underestimate that it's more fun in tourism. That's it.
Wow. And guys, kung kayo ay siguro kinakabahan, you are backed up by these women right now that you are watching, di ba? With decades of experiences. Not to mention also very gorgeous and fabulous. You're backed up by their leadership. So I hope by this episode, ano mo yun, na gumaan yung inyong pangangambak. Miss Cynthia, kayo po, what is your message for those who would like to work in the Philippine tourism industry?
Well, of course, we always start with self-mastery. If know yourself, what are your strengths and weaknesses? And of course, leverage on your strengths. Kasi, as I've said, typical Filipino, basically you love people, you're so hospitable, you're a good communicator, and sabi nga ni Agnes, you have hardware. So, tourism is a people business. So, I always look at different countries. People may say they have modern infrastructure. I used to be an IT person, so we really fall short of that. No Wi-Fi, very slow, whatever. We may not have good roads in comparison with other countries. So, looking at all the resources needed for tourism, we have the best resource ever. That's us.
Our people.
people, tao.
Mhm.
Human
So
capital. Yeah.
human capital. Let's use us, the human capital and the best of what a Filipino can be. And so we have it. We have it all. It's just a matter of supporting that, honing that, enhancing that. And I guess you see us, yeah, we run our organizations, but you also are members of associations. So there's also an innate feeling of the need to help each other. So if I talk about the industry, we have the Philippine Association of Amusement Parks and Attractions. The founding members are yung Boom na Boom before, SM also, Star City, although of course it got burned way back 2003 or so. And
Mm-mm.
It's really a very active industry association now, because the industry itself is really getting bigger, and the
Yes.
value of our projects are also getting bigger. So talking about cooperation, yes, we do a lot. In fact, the first time that COVID happened, we did the typical kamustahan. It's just to check on how we are, kamusta kayo, and then how do you take care of your employees, how do you take care of the
Mm,
resources, how do you tide things over.
Mm.
Some have
mm,
benefited from government ayuda, some have not. So just recently, I guess I'm just happy that the Tourism Congress of the Philippines, of which I'm a treasurer also, supported and partnered with the Department of Tourism with the Bayanihan too, and
Mm.
with the SP Corp providing very easy to apply loans for SMEs. Just recently, we organized a PhilApa webinar because
Ah.
sabi nga ni Ms. Georgie Flores, she's the SVP there, she said, hanga daw siya sa amin, enchanted, because we're already not small. But we act as a big brother to the smaller
Yes.
businesses. So when we did the webinar, definitely the small enterprises will benefit from loans that will be provided to them, regardless of whether they have BIR financial statements, or even sa small lang daw, hindi kailangan ng ang mayor's permit, barangay lang daw. And so SB Corp is really trying to make it easy for small businesses to have access to financial assistance. And so this is really for me a breakthrough, because there are still many small businesses that have all the potential, and I'm sure large businesses
Yes.
started small.
Small.
They started as a dream, they started as an entrepreneur. SM is one. So they started small, they started as
Yes.
a dream. Enchanted Kingdom started as a dream of one person. And,
Mm.
with the hard work of the employees, we provide livelihood. And so I'm really quite optimistic, especially with this recent Bayanihan 2, yung SB Corp financial assistance to small and even micro
On
small
behalf of
enterprises.
on
It's a
behalf of
really good assistance for those who really need it badly and were affected by COVID. So yung bayanihan is again not just a word for the Filipinos. It's really something again natural. I mean, after all, we all are prayerful. We are resilient. Sabi nga nila, bumabagyo na, nag-earthquake na, you see children, you see
tumatak.
Filipinos smiling. We're so resilient, or sabi nga, pliant like a bamboo. And we keep
mm.
our sense of humor. We keep our sense of humor. Maski tragedy na, meron ka pang joke makukuha sa tabi.
Miss
So,
Cynthia, on behalf of the small to medium enterprises, maraming salamat for the ripples that you do. Can I also just add na tourism industry is a very adapting
mm,
industry.
yeah,
Like lalo na, I feel like with the words that you say and the existence of this show is a proof na it is adapting, it is
yeah,
innovating, continuously, changing its skin to the demands of the environment, which is of course the pandemic that we are facing right now. And just it just proves now, alam mo yun, headstrong tayo, hindi tayo natutulog na industriya. Miss
Chameleon.
Margie. Yes, chameleon actually.
Mm,
Chameleon warriors. Miss
yeah.
Margie, how about you? What is your message para sa mga gustong pumasok ng Philippine tourism industry?
You know, Miss Cynthia really mentioned that the tourism industry is an industry that has a heart, right? However, I would say if you do want to be part of the tourism workforce, you must have passion, okay? Because it's not an easy thing to do. It's not an easy task. You
Mm,
will always have challenges along the way. There will be so many things that will come along the way, but you must have passion, okay? You must learn to work long hours, right? Because tourism is all about attending to the needs of our tourists, right? Regardless they be domestic, international, but you must be able to work long hours. Yes, you're in sales. I will just talk about sales and marketing. Everybody thinks it's a very glamorous job, but they just don't know the pressure that are on our shoulders, right? Because when business is good, operations are always, diba? They are the highlight.
On the
They,
go.
they can they can claim all the credits of the good things happening in the resort. But when things are bad, they look at us. In meetings, they look at us and they say, "Where are your bookings?" But at the end of the day, if I would just speak for the sales and marketing, when you want to enter into sales and marketing, remember that you are the heart of your corporation. You
yes.
bring in the people so that operations will have bodies to serve. But remember, it's hard work. It's all about hard work, long hours, dedication, and sometimes to the detriment of your health and your family. But these are the rewards that you get it's a very fulfilling job. But always remember, you must enter into tourism with a heart. Without the heart, then you will not be a successful tourism player.
Let's hear now from Miss Lani.
Being a member of the Hotel Sales and Marketing Association, the association is now stronger in comparison to how we were over the last years. Thanks to HSMA board and our president, Ms. Christine Ebareta, for leading us hotel sales and marketing professionals united during this time of pandemic. One of the programs I had seen was coming out with the September online sale. This enabled us to make cash flow for our companies. It was great success as we are all united and offer the best comeback promotions and packages. The different online discussions talks about outlook for each destination in the Philippines and even from top geographic markets to the Philippines has provided us stakeholders ideas and knowledge in our revenue forecasting, which is very important for us in this pandemic situation. What is your message for those who would like to work in the Philippine tourism industry? If you love to travel, creative, passionate, keen to learn and understand differences in cultures, and highly driven individual, come, join us in the tourism and hospitality industry. You also must have high level of energy as there will be no days like the other. It's always full of rewarding challenges.
And Miss Ria.
Okay, so my message for those people who would like to be part of the tourism industry, go for it, because it's something that will give you pride and honor for you to be able to represent, to sell, to promote our beautiful country to the world. No, it's really something different. When I travel and when I attend functions abroad or trade shows, and they would always say, "So how's the Philippines?" And I can see and feel that that my eyes would light up every time I talk about, number one, of course, the beautiful beaches that we have, the food, the people, and all the beautiful tourist spots that we have. And our culture is very rich. They say once you've been to the Philippines, you will never find another country wherein everybody is so welcoming. The minute you get into the airport, it's the Filipinos are very accommodating. That's what they say. No? The smile is always there. So if you have plans of joining, of starting a career with the tourism industry, I really suggest that you go for it.
Those are coming from, women who have been through the worst, the best, the high tides, the low tides of the tourism industry. And kinikilabutan ako hearing you na malalim yung pinanghuhugutan nyo sa inyong mga salita. Thank you so much for sharing your time, your wisdom, and your heart with us, Miss Margie, Miss Cynthia, Miss Agnes, and of course, Miss Lani and Miss Ria as well. But before I let you go, meron po akong small favor from you. Dito po kasi sa GPS TV, meron tayong tinatawag na GPS Move. So, it would be so much an honor if it would also come from you, my dearest titas of Manila, to do the GPS Move with me. So when I say here on GPS TV, we remind you to just do the hashtag sign. Hashtag go safe,
Go
Go
safe,
safe.
go travel,
go
Go
travel,
travel.
go Philippines,
go
Go
Philippines,
soar high.
soar
Soar
high.
high.
Hey, one more time here on
Hey.
GPS TV, we always remind you to hashtag
Hashtag
go
Hashtag
safe,
go
Go
safe,
safe.
go
safe,
go
travel,
travel,
Go
travel,
go
travel.
Philippines,
go
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 Philippines.
Philippines,
Philippines.
soar high.
Soar
soar
high.
high.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
Thank you
you.
too.
Mabuhay po kayong lahat.
Thank
Mabuhay
you.
po
Thank you,
kayo.
Aya.
Thank you.
You're
Thank you,
such a
Aya.
wonderful host. Thank you.
Yes, that's true.
Oh, coming from you. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Maraming salamat din sa
And you're all
lahat.
invited to Enchanted Kingdom.
Yes. And to take all the rides, Agnes.
For sure. Pero
Look
maghahanda.
at the barf bag.
Right. It's a date. It's a date.
Advance memo daw po dapat muna kay Miss Agnes.
Sure.
Anyway, maraming salamat din sa ating viewers sa Facebook and YouTube who join in on the conversation. That was truly a value-adding experience for us here. Diba? Sobra, guys. Kahit ano pang ang profession ng inyong kinalalagyan, for sure, pasok din sa banga yung mga narinig natin ngayong araw. And thank you, of course, to Hotel Sales and Marketing Association, or HSMA, the Department of Tourism, and the Tourism Promotions Board for making this show possible. Sana na-absorb niyo yung ating mga narinig ngayong hapon. Sana na-empower din kayo ng ating powerful women tungkol sa safe and mindful traveling as well as building your career in the tourism industry. Always plan your trips and consider the health situation of your family, your resources at the location you're going to, of course, on top of strict medical protocols yan, so that everyone can safely enjoy, including the rest of the people around you. Again, talagang may papakita natin ang bayanihan sa pamamagitan ng pagiging mapagmatsyag na manlalakbay. Guys, gaya ng na-mention ni Miss Agnes kanina, tourism breaks the borders. Huwag po tayong magiging dayuhan sa sarili nating bayan. Huwag kang magiging turista sa sarili mong bansa. Always remember that for everyone to have a worry-free travel experience, we have to go safe before we go travel. Hashtag go safe, go travel. Until the next flight, this has been your online travel buddy, Aya Fernandez. Watch out for more episodes and see you only here on GPS TV. Go Philippines! Soar high! Mabuhay po tayong lahat!